Anybody heard from Stephanie?
Probably tied up traffic, I bet.
Are we ready? Don, are you ready? At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 6 p.m. Tuesday, September 19th of 2023. City Council Chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. We have with us in the chambers, District 2, Grady Simpson. District 3, Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem. We have District 5, Phil Robinson. We have city staff and city manager Mike Sims. At this time, I would ask for Pastor Baker, Kenneth Baker, if you would please come forward. And we're going to do our invocation, and if you would please remain standing for our Texas flag and American flag pledges.
Good evening. Let us pray. Father, we just thank you, and God, we just give you praise and glory for allowing us to get here safe today, keeping us all day long. Thank you for your gracious and your merciful blessings upon us. And God, even as I pray for this council meeting on tonight, God, I pray for wisdom and guidance for our council members. And God, I pray that all of the decisions and the things that they have to deliberate upon tonight, that you would give them the guidance and give them the wisdom to do it. God, I pray for righteous decisions. I pray for decisions that would benefit us all. And then I pray that you would get honor and glory. And God would give you praise for it in advance. In Christ's name, thank you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. All right, Pastor Baker, if you would wait just one moment. Pastor, I'd like to say thank you for all you do for our community. Myself and our council included, we think highly of our faith-based community in our city. So thank you for all you do. I have a challenge coin. This is our 1873-2023 sesquicentennial challenge coin that we give out, and we're going to challenge you to continue to do for the city of Terrell and pray for us and your congregation. So thank you very much.
You have my
Okay?
word.
Yes.
I'm honored.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so next on our agenda is Mayor and Council Community Recognition and Events. Council, this week is Constitution Week, and we have with us in the chambers the Daughters of America. Cynthia Good, if you would please come forward while I read a proclamation that we would like to present. And for the record, we now have Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 4 with us. If you would please come forward. So this is from the office of the Mayor of the City of Terrell. It's a proclamation. It reads, whereas September the 17th of 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September the 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, now therefore I, Rick Carmona, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city, of Terrell in the state of Texas, do hereby proclaim the week of September the 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in the city of Terrell, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideas that the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Terrell to be affixed this 19th day of September of 2023. For us, and we certainly appreciate that. Here's a challenge coin that we would like to present to you on behalf of the city council and the mayor, and there's the proclamation. Good to see everybody. We're going to take a photo with the council. Allison, we're looking at you. Can't see Stephanie? Good? Is there anything you would like to say on behalf of the Daughters of America?
Daughters of American
Revolution, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
It's okay. No, I just wanted to thank you for reading the proclamation. We appreciate you acknowledging
Wonderful.
that.
Well, thank you
Thank you so
Good to
much.
see you. Yes. Is there any other community recognition or events, council?
Mayor, can I give you one?
Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to invite Mike McKess to come out, or come up to the podium and do a introduction and recognition of somebody who you're going to see a lot more of around here.
Yes, good evening. This is DJ Brower, and after a search for the Director of Utilities position, he was offered the position, considered it for 30 seconds and said yes. And no, I'm gonna give him just 60 seconds to, if he wants to share a little bit now, real quick. But I want to say this about him. I've worked with him 2 days. He's a very sharp individual, okay? He's going to do well, all right? I just want to I'll give him kudos up front. So.
Well, thank you, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, I look forward to being a servant leader with your firm, with the City of Terrell. Looking forward to the challenges and the opportunities you guys have to grow this city. I am a professional engineer. I'm also a certified floodplain manager, and I'm looking forward to helping you guys get the necessary water, sewer, and other improvements to get this city growing and continue to grow. If you have any questions, I want to be able to help and answer, but I plan on giving you the truthful answer and not something you want to hear.
Wonderful. Well, welcome to the city of Terrell, and thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
So we are going to begin our meeting, but I know some were here just for the presentation. If y'all would like to, it's a long meeting, but thank the DAR. Thank y'all very much for being here.
Mayor,
Yes?
and I do want to acknowledge, not only city staff who helps with our local roads, like Glenn Caldwell and his team, but also council, you, Mayor, and city leadership, such as Mike, because I've had good feedback from community members in regards to the roads. And then I've also had, whether it was a concern about how fast are they going to keep the work moving, because it's making my allergies act up with all the dust that's remaining. But other than that, the feedback is good. Community members are glad to see that. We are adding more roads to be addressed with, right, the resurfacing of the roads that we've had over the last couple of weeks and the drainage improvement. And then, of course, I'm always going to ask that, you know, we take it a step further and see, you know, what we can improve on and continue to stay on top of quality control. But definitely wanted to share that. We have had some good feedback. And of course, there's always the ask of improving the condition of more roads and more miles in the city of Terrell.
Okay, thank
Yes, Mayor. Also, I especially, speaking of roads, I drove down New Hope and all those other areas, and I just want to give special thanks to Mr. Sims, to Ms. Caldwell, and to Mr. Horn. This is our special project manager, who he's done an amazing job, and I just want to take the time to just recognize staff because they do a lot of behind-the-scene work, and you guys need to be recognized. Ms. Sims, Ms. Caldwell, Mr.
Wonderful.
Horn.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Anyone else?
thank you.
Yep. All right. Next on the agenda is item 6, discuss and consider the minutes of the regular city.
The visitors, Mayor.
District Mayor.
Oh.
Your remarks on visitors.
Oh, do we have anyone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So next on the agenda is adoption of the minutes. Discuss and consider the minutes from the regular city council meeting on September the 12th of 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from the regular city council meeting on September 12, 2023 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second?
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve the regular city council meeting minutes of September the 12th of 2023 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 7.1.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, item 7.1 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a planned development retail PDR base zoning on 6.665 acres of land as recorded in deed volume 7787, page 247, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. The property is located at 15025 State Highway 205, north of County Road 236, PD 2303.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you, we have a planned development retail base zoning. And on the map on your screen, you'll see there, this is property, a little over 6 acres is fronting State Highway 205. You can see just north of the property is where Griffith comes out there. The red building just to the north of the red area is going to be Stovall's. So just to get our area in the red is going to be what we are in question here. So on the zoning map, as you can see, the red is going to be what it's currently zoned. The red is going to be retail, and the blue is going to be executive estates. The applicant came forward and is wanting to do a planned development on this to change it to retail. The future land use map calls for it to be the local retail and office, and let me pop this up. The applicant does have another existing product similar to what they were wanting to do at this location out in Royce City. On your screen, you can see this is very similar to what he is planning on building here. It is a planned development. There is some modifications to the retail-based zoning that we are doing in the ordinance. And we did receive a letter in favor of the zone change. The main difference to point out here in the plan development is going to be the allowable uses, as you can see them on your screen, 1 through 4, that as a right is not allowed under retail, but in the plan development, we would allow by right, which would be contractor's office supply with no outdoor storage, contractor supply warehouse, again with no outdoor storage, heating and air conditioning sales and services, and an office, showroom, warehouse. These are all uses in our zoning ordinance. And then in addition, the applicant did request that if any of the tenants or anybody that bought anything were to request outdoor storage, they would have to come forward and apply for a specific use permit if that outdoor storage was going to be more than 24 hours. So that is something that is not given by right with the PD. An additional, there's minimum exterior construction standards as well as landscape requirements that you can see in your packet. And I am happy to answer any questions.
This was a 6-0 vote by Planning and Zoning to approve.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Ms. Motto on this PD? All right, this is well, you know what? Let's do the public hearing first, and then we'll get her, okay? So this is a public hearing. At this time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding a planned development, PDR, on base zoning. Is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to item 7.2.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3000. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, providing for the creation of a planned development retail, PD-R, under the provisions of Section 31A, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, on certain real property described as 6.665 acres of land, 290,342 square feet out of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 500, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 15025 State Highway 205, City of Terrell, Texas, being currently zoned as Executive Estates 3264 EE 3264, and being more particularly described by meets and bounds on the plat and legal description thereof attached hereto as Exhibits A and B, and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Ms. Motto on this planned development?
So, quickly, so the planning and zoning voted 6-0 on the zoning, correct?
In favor of the
favor.
planned development, yes, sir.
Were any concerns expressed at all by anyone, or did anyone come forward to express any reservations at all?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
Okay,
Thank you.
anyone else? All right, this is discuss and consider. This is ordinance number 3000. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mayor, motion to approve ordinance number 3000.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3000 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 7.3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, item 7.3 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a planned development townhouse residential, PD-TH, base zoning on 2.298 acres of land as recorded in deed volume 5698, page 548, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. The property is located at the northwest corner of State Highway 34 and East Bryn Street, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, PD 23-04.
This is our city engineer, director of municipal development, Chris Snap.
Council and Mayor, I bring to you a planned development that is on north of 80 on State Highway 34. This item here, Mr. Richard Hunt, and Mr. Richard Hunt is here present today to ask any questions on down the road. This is a planned development that we have worked with him on numerous times. He's made modifications. He's compliant with everything in the planned development. The only variance is the amount of land that is the difference. It is townhouses in this. And let me go ahead and I'll show you the rendering if you'll start the video. This is a video that he has prepared. He's done a very good job of actually what it's going to look like when it's complete. So as you can see, this is actually 34. He's going to have a fence along the way, an iron fence that meets our code. Everything, one thing he's not added in there was the last minute is he's going to put a 5-foot wainscoting at the bottom, a facade rock, faux rock or real rock on the bottom. So it'll be up 6 feet, 5 feet, excuse me, that's the standard. But This is identical to what he is preparing to build and construct. He's made all the compliance of meeting the fire code. You saw the turnaround at the end. He's made numerous modifications and making it compliant, and he falls in compliant with everything that we require. We have, as I'll let you see that go through, because it actually goes through and actually shows you part of the inside. We won't show the whole thing. But I wanted to get you a good touch and feel of what the improvement's going to be in that area. It's going to be very nice, very clean looking. He's made modifications to all the driveways and additions there. We sent out 39 letters. We only received one opposition. That opposition's in your packet there. So I think everybody gets a good feel.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. So this is a public hearing. This time we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding the planned development townhouse residential PED, TH, base zoning. Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item? If you would, please state your name and address when you address the council.
Richard Hunt, 14033 Clearview Court, Forney, Texas. Mayor, council, thank you for your time. Got a lot of time and energy spent to put this together to really, what I feel is a definite curb appeal driving through the main part of, through the city, really focusing on trying to lift the curb appeal in that area and still keep the integrity of the property and just be a really good part of the community. It's something that everybody can be proud to see as you drive by and the people that live there and how that impacts the community. But if there's any questions that you have, I'm here to answer.
So this is a public hearing, so we receive comments, but we don't back and forth.
Okay.
But thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Yes. Anyone else? At this time, we will close the public hearing and move on to item 7.4. Greg?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3008, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, providing for the creation of a planned development townhouse 12 multifamily PD TH12 MF under the provisions of Section 31A, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell on certain real property containing 2.297 acres of land, more particularly described by meets and bounds on the plat and field notes attached hereto and Exhibits A and B, and made a part hereof for all purposes, and also known as 519 Blanche Street, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Snap?
I do. How many units? Is it 16 units that's on the,
Yes.
side of, west side of near 34th, that's 16 units? And then you have two more on the edge. And then what are these big things on the, let's see, I think it's on the east, near Blanche Street. Are those bigger, units? I'm looking at the site plan on page 39.
There you go, help me.
We'll get there in just a second.
Yes, there's two units on the, I guess it would be on the further south of the property. As you have the turnaround, there'll be two units there. And then the other units will be facing 34.
It looks like there's 4 larger units, is that correct?
Are the larger units? Yes.
Chris, can we maybe clarify that what we're calling larger units, are those just single-family houses?
Yes, the townhouses.
Okay, so there'll be 4 single, family dwellings, and then the others will be townhomes.
They'll be all townhomes.
Anyone else?
Is the East of State Street, is that where the entrance level, the entranceway is at? Coming off 34?
No, it'll be off Blanche.
Off Blanche, okay.
There's actually an iron fence along 34.
Oh,
And
Kind of separation. There was already currently a sidewalk against 34, then there'll be an iron fence, and then there'll be another sidewalk for all the residents to walk in.
Regs won't allow us to do an entrance off 34. It has to come.
Yeah,
what
that's
I
gonna be a
wanted to know,
text
and I
dot.
understand why, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't wanna, they
I
don't wanna
love
go
it.
into
Yeah,
that.
I love it, yeah.
Yeah, and just for clarity here on the map, where it says state, that's going to be the north side of the project.
I love it.
Where it says Blanche up on there on the top of this page, that's where the entrance is. And then we've got a mislabeled Blanche down there, and most of y'all probably already picked up, that's going to be Bryn, am I right
Yes.
about that? And so you've got two of the units that face Bryn. You got a big cul-de-sac, which is large enough for fire truck turnaround. And then you've got the rest of the townhouses facing State Highway 34 with their garages facing the cul-de-sac street there. And then you've got, when you drive by this area, when you're driving north from Bryn to State, you see a very large drainage area. That drainage area doesn't get any houses in it. That just remains a drainage area.
Awesome.
Chris, the, all of the area that is, sort of a, not Xed out, but there's a, like gradient? And are those shaded gradient? Are those, current homes? Is that vacant
Yes.
land?
Yes, that's not his property.
Okay, and the SF4 properties those are included as part of the development, but in order to build those homes, can they be built right now without being part of the development?
I'm not following your question.
The 4 single-family houses aren't included in the rezoning because existing zoning is sufficient for the 4 single-family homes to be,
Yeah.
constructed. They're simply land he also owns.
Yeah,
So what I'm hearing is the four homes he could build today,
yes,
the single-family homes along
that's correct.
State Street and Blanche Street. Okay, and looking through the packet, what does the future land use map call for this area?
You got me stumped there.
We got it. It's in here.
Yeah, it should be right there.
Traditional neighborhood.
Yeah, I thought it was neighborhood.
Traditional neighborhood.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And just for clarity's sake, it's a great question. If you think about it for a minute, what's staff's job? Staff's job is to compare the proposed land use to the long-range comprehensive plan and ask ourselves, well, is it compliant with the long-range comprehensive plan? Long-range comprehensive plan in any area denoted as traditional neighborhood does allow for pockets of slightly higher than single-family density. So it allows for townhouse in the comprehensive plan in this type of land use. The reference that Chris was giving you during his presentation about, well, what's non-compliant? Why are we even doing this? What's non-compliant about this? The rule book says, if you go to the zoning page, one more page, please. See how part of that is orange? Part of the orange part of that is an area where it's multifamily zoned right now. And if you want to build townhouse in multifamily, you can do that by right, but you still have to follow the rules about what size the project is. And under our townhouse rules, you have a minimum size of project. This project isn't actually physically large enough, there isn't enough land on it to meet the minimum project size related to townhouses under our current zoning. So that's what instigated the whole element of this particular person coming forward to try to figure out how to put a PD on it, because he's balancing, I have multifamily in orange, I have single family 7.5 in yellow, but then all of that's against a backdrop of the comprehensive plan with the traditional neighborhood. So that's just a little more zoning background on it.
And you feel confident that the drainage won't be a problem with the issues, I mean, with the drainage going through there? You feel
No.
confident that it's,
There's already currently a drainage ditch there on the northern side of that. And we've had discussions, it's just simply discussions of doing something with that floodplain, that maybe a dog park or something that would make it usable. So we'll have to make everything convey that way, yes,
and you just feel
yes.
confident with the work you've seen and the conversation you've had with this developer?
Yes, sir.
That he'll
Yes, ma'am.
make it
Absolutely.
possible for our citizens. Okay, thank you.
Chris, I noted that the one complaint or the one dissenting letter we received had concerns about traffic. So all of the parking is in the rear coming off of Blanche, correct?
That's
So
correct.
they go to the area marked fire lane, is that what we're talking about? And they park in the garages behind the building. So there shouldn't be any additional traffic pulling out onto 34 that direction.
That's correct.
Okay. Have we considered or assessed any potential other traffic concerns that this might present? Or do we feel confident it's not going to?
No, I feel comfortable that you see the additional parking. We've made additional requests for parking and also dumpster. All the ancillary things of that nature are included in that, so we can ensure that. And plus, they have garages, so a lot of the cars will be in the garages.
And the trash will be taken directly from the units to the dumpster?
Yes.
Picked up by, okay. No individual trash
No.
receptacles? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Chris. Is there a motion on, are we at that yet?
Yes.
This is ordinance number 3006. Is there a motion?
3008.
Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry, 3008 is where we are. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Mayor, I'd motion to postpone the item to the October 10th meeting. I do have some neighbors from the community that have reached out, and I'd like some time to meet with them.
Okay, there's a motion.
A second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, and a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 4, to postpone this item until October the 10th. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 7.5.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, item 7.5 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a special use permit to allow the use of a dome for cement as permanent storage. The property is located at Metrocrest Edition, Lot 2, Block E, on 14.74 acres, also known as 103 Metrocrest Way, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, SUP 23-06.
All right, this is going to be handled by Chris Snap again.
Council and Mayor, I bring to you, this is the concrete dome that you probably heard about. The company is here representing today that they're here present. This is out there at the industrial park area. And just as the previous discussion, and we had a video, these individuals actually made a rendering. And I want you to keep in mind as you're looking at this rendering, they went to the effort to go get the current foliage, video it going down Highway 80. So you actually have a good feel of size and complexity and things of that nature. So this is actually footage of the current foliage as you drive down 80. This is the dome, and they have the towers, have elevator towers. They're actually going to be storing cement in that sphere. It'll be railed in and go from there. If you would back up, go a little bit further, and then we'll stop it. One thing I want to show that they're doing additionally to our request. Okay, you can stop it right there. If you'll see the towers there, those are actually stair towers and elevator towers to take the material to the top of the sphere and dump it in. They're going to encase that and close that, so we're not looking at raw iron as you're driving down through Highway 80 to make the appearance as nice as they can be. This is compliant with all our codes that we have, and the staff recommends approval for this. This was awarded by the P&Z, a unanimous vote of, for proceeding forward. So answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, so this is a public hearing as well, right? So we're gonna receive comment. So let's open the public hearing. This time we will open our public hearing to receive comments for a specific use permit to allow the use of a dome for cement as permanent storage. Is there anyone to speak for or against this item?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Ben Inslee. I'm with SRM Concrete. We're going to be the ones constructing and using the dome. The dome is going to be used for storage of cement, which will be used to produce concrete for the community and hopefully future expansions of the city. It'll be coming in from rail and loaded into trucks there. It is something that is it's needed, as there has been extreme shortages of cement over the past few years, and we think it would be a great asset for the community and the development for future industries. So we really appreciate your consideration.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to item 7.6.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3006, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, granting a specific use permit under the provisions of Section 31B, Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell to Ben Inslee, allowing an exception to the provisions of Section 30, Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell for certain property more particularly described as Lot 1, Block 1, Metro Crest addition to the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, by permitting a construction dome for cement storage to be located on said property, currently zoned as Light Industrial, LI, according to the plat attached hereto as Exhibit A, and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
All right. Again, Mr. Snap, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Snap on this item?
So this will be new construction, there's nothing there now?
That's correct.
Okay.
If you go to the drawing, Dawn, this is actually going to be on their existing property right there. If you can see the white area in the back, it's actually going to be in that area. The rail is already there. They're going to add a side track up at the top, but the main rail is already there, been there, goes all the way to the Walmart distribution center. So this is going to be on their current property in the back of it, so you won't even be in the far back.
Is your mic on, Stephanie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool, thank you. Anyone else?
So, for me, this sort of speaks directly to sort of an overall vision for Terrell, you know, sort of how we want to be perceived and how we would like our city to appear. One of the things we talked a lot about recently is sort of protecting our entrances to the city and making our city sort of, you know, attracted to visitors. And you know, I worry sometimes about us kind of putting, you know, a lot of industrial type structures kind of right at the forefront of the city, right as you come in. It starts to feel like more of an industrial town than kind of a good place to raise a family and to visit and enjoy yourself. You know, I have reservations about such a dramatic industrial structure right at the entrance of town. And I've had a few constituents mention that to me as well. I noted that the planning and zoning voted 6-0, so I respect their kind of their take on this and their perspective. Is there anything specifically being, has a consideration been made to sort of make this structure sort of fit into the surrounding landscape, or to kind of you know, do something to kind of make it not quite so, you know, apparent as you come into town?
Well, this is probably our second or third revisions.
Yeah.
It first initially came in and it was too high. It didn't meet our compliance of the thing, restrictions on the height. So they went back and retooled their drawings and modifications. That's why they went ahead and added the additional covering on the tower that you see to the right of that, the stair tower. They're going to encase that so it cannot be seen and it wouldn't be raw steel that you would be looking at in stairs from Highway 80. That's the main area that I was concerned with when we visited with them. They went back, retooled it, lowered it down, made some modifications, added some additional appearance and coloring and, painting of the steel, so.
Protecting our entrances is about, making sure that our entranceways are attractive and, inviting. And I do have significant concerns about sort of more industrial structures kind of all crowded up at the entrance of our city. So I'll leave it at that for now, but that's kind of my perspective currently.
Well, you know what? I would agree with you. However, go back to the video. Could you play that video one more time? And those trees are existing currently?
Yes.
Is that correct? So it has a break there. You will see the top of it, but it looks pretty nice to me. Here's the thing. They're going to need rail service, so that kind of works in their favor to be able to have that rail come in there. I like the idea of it being covered because it creates where there's not a lot of dust in there. They're going to all be controlled, and that works in our favor. But here's the other thing for cement is as we're growing, one of the things that we can do to help those that are in need of it is to try to bring the cost in. If they're locally doing business here, it's going to help us kind of keep that cost down as we grow, right? So I think there's some positive things there. Is it perfect? That's just the eye of the beholder. But for some of these others that I've seen, man, they don't look as nice. So I meant, in a perfect world, would we have it somewhere hidden? But the problem is the railroad tracks coming through there. That's the service, and that is industrial, right?
It is, yes, it's all industrial.
Yeah, so.
So it's compliant with our zoning.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm reminded of when I was on the planning and zoning, something came through for, Mayor Ronnie may have to help me with this, the lumber yard that's in your district. I mean, I was just excited about it, but I hope these companies will service local builders, especially small local builders. I've had some personal problems even getting things from there. They want you to go to Arlington, so I just want to say that and keep that in mind. I do think it's needed and necessary, and it may help with keeping the costs manageable, but I want to make sure that our people here that service our community and build will have access and we'll get some benefit from it, and I'm okay with that. But I just wanted to say that because I was kind of disappointed after things got to rolling. It's difficult to do business with the small locals with that. So I know there's no guarantees, there's nothing we can mandate, but just that's always in my mind. If I would have just asked more questions or been more upfront about it. I know it's great revenue for the company and it's good for our city, but I want our local builders to be able to benefit from it as well.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else have any comments for
That's the main.
Chris?
I have two. Question following Councilmember Home Thomas. And maybe either the owners or Chris can help answer this. Who are the customers? Who will be able to purchase to help answer the question?
So we service the ready-mix concrete industry primarily, but we also service block manufacturers, precast manufacturers, soil stabilization, all use our product, and we do sell to the public. We are a ready-mix company, and the product does go to make concrete for us, but we bring in more to support the whole community. So we sell to the public, so it would support all of those industries. So pavers, I don't know if we have any local paver companies, but there may be in the future. Block, precast, which would make septic systems and culverts and those type of things. And then soil stabilization, which is getting bigger as you get into industrial zones where land is not usable. They have to stabilize the soil with cement. can answer multiple questions. As far as the building itself and the aesthetics of the building, we do have a drawing with some graphics on that. We can show you if that may help, with a logo and maybe an American flag on the tower, so, to maybe increase the curb appeal.
So what I'm hearing is that there's, you allow purchase from certain customers in the fields, in the construction fields that you mentioned, like soil stabilization and soil stabilization. I guess so thank you for answering that, but my question for Chris, for this item, is it that, are they not able to build outright right now because of the shape or because of the type of company of service that they offer right now, fitting in with the light industrial zoning?
Well, their intent is to have a dome from the standpoint, they got to keep the cement dry and it's got to flow. It's all conveyed by air and conveyors, so it's got to be very flow. One thing I would just want to add, when you talk about customers here, one thing that we're getting involved, and as you know, we've been talking roads quite a bit. One thing that we've been getting involved with a great deal in the last year and a half, 2 years, Mike can talk about it more, is soil stabilization. We are getting into some situations where we looking at grinding up some roads, and then putting seal coat down, chip seal, whatever we might want to do. That cement helps in doing that, and it reduces the amount of flex space that we have to haul in. And instead of 10 inches of flex space, we can get by with mixing it with his product and creating some, maybe 6 inches, and the stabilization underneath being very tight and very, very packed.
What I'm hearing is it's because of the shape of the building that we're seeing this item come in front of us. Okay, and I just, while we have been talking about roads quite a bit, this is the second time, we're talking about soil stabilization in my day, at least today. So it sounds exciting, and at the same time, I certainly hear the concerns, and I appreciate the business coming forward and answering questions.
One final question. I see the benefit in having a facility like this in town, but is Terrell going to, sort of reap any benefits with regard to sort of rates or materials costs by having this structure locally here in town? Is there any true cost-related benefit for materials of us having this structure here in the city?
Meaning we're going to get a price break or something? Or
I'm wondering how it benefits us specifically. Just having them in the city, how does that benefit Terrell in terms of have those materials being here locally?
I think this would be transportation.
Just transporting the materials to Terrell? That's the one true benefit, is just getting them to Terrell, the concrete.
There's going to be benefits here locally, a great deal. We talked about the soil stabilization. We've got a great deal of concrete going on. We've got a Apache Trail that's going to be done. We have several jobs, drainage projects that's going to be involved.
Just having a quick source of concrete close by is what you're... Okay.
As you know, concrete is fluctuated in price, and it's gone up, and it's been shortage. So we got a lot of projects and a lot of roads that we're going to be looking at that we're currently. A lot of the developments are already in connections with these individuals and working with them directly. So there's a big benefit.
Okay, and this company's materials cost, it's the concrete we would buy from them as a competitive rate or a competitive cost?
I would,
typically?
Yeah, I would ease more into the pricing of that than I'd see.
Okay.
I think I can answer that a little.
Sure.
Just expand on what was said. Stability and availability are what that dome will bring the town and the residents as far as being readily available to consume. It's going to hold 35,000 metric tons of product that will be readily available. When we, over the past 2 years in particular through COVID, we saw extreme shortages in cement. We, as SRM, had to do extreme measures to get projects completed because we didn't have readily available storage for communities. We can bring this in, we can store it up, and we can be there for the community when big projects come to town. we will have the supply available so that they can do these projects, so they don't have to truck, which adds to the cost when we start trucking for extreme distances to move this product. Now it'll be available and it can speed up those processes.
Where's the closest competitor, that we?
Midlothian.
Okay. And I heard, they put an American flag on top of that, Terrell Tiger flag, Trinity Valley, Southwest Christian College flag.
We pitched the local mascot on
know,
there.
All right, thank you.
My first request was a Jerry Jones billboard up there.
Look at you.
I did pitch that, saying we can put, Tigers are going to stay, whatever the case. Go buy a hamburger somewhere, sell it, make a little money, and put it up there. It'd be an eye catcher then.
Yeah, thank you. So we got a long night.
I had to give you a hard time. Thank you.
A long night. This is discuss and consider ordinance number 3006. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mayor, motion to approve ordinance number 3006.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 4, to approve ordinance number 3006 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? So, motion carries 3-1. It passes. Next item on the agenda is 7.6.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I believe it's 7.7, actually, Mr.
Oh,
Mayor.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change from agricultural, AG, to city single-family residential, 7.5, SF 7.5. The property is located at the northwest corner of Town North Drive and Porter Road, FM 986, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 23-06.
This is our development analyst, Amara Mata.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, before you, there is a requested zone change from agricultural to single-family residential 7.5. It's not clicking, sorry. There we go. Just for orientation, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, that is going to be Terrell High School with the Performing Arts Center, Poetry Road going north, and Town North. So the property in question is going to be the parcel that you see highlighted in red. This is a part of a bigger tract, so the property owner does own most of that vacant land. As you can see, that big parcel just north of Town North. So on the zoning map, as you can see here, all of the yellow that you can see as single-family 7.5 is what the applicant owns. They also own the little parcel in question that is on that corner of Poetry Town North that is currently zoned ag. They came forward, wanted to request to rezone in order to develop this property into 7.5 single-family homes. The future land use map does call for this area to be new traditional neighborhood, so it does follow our comp plan. There were no letters in question. There were no letters that were received opposing or in favor of the zone change, and Planning and Zoning did approve the zone change by a 6-0 vote.
Thank you, Ms. Mata. This is a public hearing. We're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to speak regarding the zone change from ag to SF 7.5? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to 7.8.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3007, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification on certain real property, more particularly described as 2.624 acres of land situated in the JMH Chisholm Survey, Abstract 105, Kaufman County, Texas, and located at the northeast corner of FM 986, Poetry Road, and Town North Drive from agricultural, AG, to single-family, 7.5, SF 7.5, as shown on the plat attached here to as Exhibit A and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for severability and providing an effective date. This does come to you tonight on first reading.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Mata?
Okay, I just want to get clarification. You said that the property is owned by the same person that owns the bigger parcel?
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
already zoned 7.5.
Yes, ma'am. The map in front of you, you can see that there's two separate parcels, but it is one owner on both of them. I think this map is better right here. So all of the SF 7.5 in yellow that is north of Town North, that is all one big parcel that is the same property owner as this one. All of the green above the single family, that's gonna be a different owner.
Okay. Cool.
Elmira, have we heard from the owner about their intentions to develop the land soon?
I don't know their timeline, but we have met with them in a DRC, and they came forward wanting to know what the alignment of the streets and how they are going to lay it out, but nothing is set in stone. So I would assume they are wanting to move forward. I just don't know how quickly.
Wondering if they were looking to rezone to sell all the land together at 7.5, or maybe they have a project down the pipeline. I mean, it doesn't affect my decision. I'm just wondering.
Yes, ma'am. I believe the intent is for them to develop that property into 7.5 single-family homes.
I think this would be a great opportunity right here by the school, and it's a better opportunity to get more sidewalks for our children and their safety. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you. Again, this is a discuss and consider. This is ordinance number 3007. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 3007.
Have a motion, second?
Second.
Have a motion from Stephanie Helms Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 4, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3007 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.1.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 8.1 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding establishing the tax rate on all taxable property within the city of Terrell, Texas for fiscal year 2023-2024, and levying and ordering collection for the tax year 2023, and providing a lien on all real and personal property to secure the payment of taxes assessed.
All right, this is going to be handled by Don Stell.
Mayor and council, ordinance number 3002 is in your packet. This ordinance will establish the tax rate for the fiscal year 2023 through 2024. This rate will be 0.7642, the general fund at 0.6142, and the interest and sinking fund at 0.1500. This rate remains unchanged, and if approved, it will be the 2023-2024 tax rate.
Okay, this is a public hearing, so at this time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding the establishment of the tax rate on all taxable property within the city of Terrell. Is there anyone here to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to item 8.2.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance 3002, an ordinance of the city of Terrell, Texas, establishing the tax rate on all taxable property within the city of Terrell, Texas for fiscal year 2023-2024, and levying and ordering collection for the tax year 2023, and providing a lien on all real and personal property to secure the payment of taxes assessed, containing a severability clause, repealing all ordinances and parts therein in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And again, this comes to you tonight on first reading.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Don? Hearing none, we will move on. Again, this is a discuss and consider ordinance number 3002. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3002 as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Have a motion to approve. We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve ordinance number 3002 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Not on this one.
All right. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, item 8.3 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding amending Chapter 12, Utilities, Section 17 municipal stormwater utility system of the City of Terrell Code of Ordinances, amending Section 17-9 Municipal Stormwater Utility System Fee Schedule, establishing a municipal stormwater utility system fee, exemptions, and credits.
All right, again, this is a public hearing, so we will, oh, no, wait, sorry. Don, you got
Mayor and council, ordinance number 3003 will establish the municipal stormwater rate for the fiscal year 2024. You can see that it went from $9.65 to $10.65. And if approved, this will be effective beginning October 1st, 2023.
All right, thank you, Don. This is a public hearing. We will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding the amending Chapter 12 Utilities, Section 17 of Municipal Stormwater Utility System for the City of Terrell. Is there anyone here to speak on this behalf? Yes. If you would, please state your name
Jeff
and
Pasco,
address.
Terrell. Our sewer rates are already too high right now. Our water bill's too high, our sewer rate's too high. The cost for sewer's higher than the water. To raise it again, it's just getting unmanageable for the minimum payment. It's too high.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to item 8.4.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3003, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, amending Chapter 12 Utilities, Section 17 Municipal Stormwater Utility System of the City of Terrell Code of Ordinances, amending Section 17-9 Municipal Stormwater Utility System Fee Schedule, establishing a municipal stormwater utility system fee, exemptions, and credits, providing for repealing, savings, and severability clauses, providing an effective date of this ordinance, and providing for the publication of the caption hereof. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
Is there anyone who has any questions for Ms. Dawn Powell?
Dawn, for this specific ordinance 3003 related to the water utility rate, this is the rate where we rescinded through earlier conversations that we would no longer propose to have a $1 increase every year following this year. So the intent was, the earlier conversations included an additional dollar increase each year, and in efforts to reduce
Yes.
that burden, we've held off on doing so at this time.
Yes, ma'am. This total is $3 less than that which was previously discussed.
And at this time, the current rate for utility, the utility rate here is $9.65, and the proposal is to go up $1, which would be $10.65 and would go into effect October the 1st. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Yes.
Anybody else have any questions for Don?
Real quickly, so that's probably a question for Mike, maybe. With this $1 increase, are we just sort of keeping ourself afloat, our heads above water, or are we going to be able to address any additional drainage needs? You know,
So that is the classic question. So I would say that part of what we will, of course, fight against is inflation, right? So we will have that to fight against, but we are trying to get ourselves in a position where we can just do more stormwater work. We get a lot of complaints about stormwater drainage projects throughout the city. We did a study several years ago that showed $60 million in unmet capital improvement needs on the stormwater side. We've had some good success knocking out stormwater projects over the last few years, but we just feel it's important for this fee to keep pace with the needs that we see in stormwater. Some of these projects are small, some of them are big. We're about to start a project of putting a stormwater pipe in between Medora and South Francis that goes along a sidewalk edge. That's only a $45,000 project, but, to the residents who have a house that back up to that side of it, they've been asking for that project for 25 years. And so it's just a balance, and we think this will help us address more of those needs throughout the city. So it's, again, it's less than we originally came out of the box with because we tried to whittle that down, but it is still a $1 per house increase.
when do we plan to reevaluate whether additional increases will be needed?
I think my recommendation coming from staff will be to do it annually and just sit back, look at the revenues in that fund, look at what projects we're able to accomplish, and reassess that rate on an annual basis.
Does anybody else have any questions for Don or Mike?
I want to thank staff for thinking about the citizens, and when we were able to rescind the $3, I'm just not blown away by that dollar fee per month. But things are going up. But I do consider our citizens, and with that being said, that's why I asked Mr. McKeska some questions I asked last week about what we can do to help with managing the cost. So I kind of challenged my city
Yes, ma'am.
colleagues and my council members to see what we can do and be looking ahead for next year's budget to see if we can help curb some of these costs.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else have any comments for Don or Mike?
I would say, you know, I share the same spirit as Councilmember Holmes Thomas in raising anything, whether it's stormwater, water, trash, et cetera. It's not, you know, you don't walk away feeling good about doing that at all. We are able to at least rescind what was asked of City Council to implement. So there was certainly some negotiation there, and it would certainly, if it helps at all, for community members that are listening, we do have what I'll say, a small cost savings for utility and water rates for those individuals that are 65 and older. That's in place at this time. So if that's not something that community members are receiving, those households, then I would please encourage them to reach out to city staff.
All right, thank you.
I do want to quickly say that I did sort of reach out to our constituents and, via social media poll, and I did get a lot of feedback of appreciation that we're not pursuing the locking in these incremental increases. Many seemed in favor of, okay, we want to address these drainage needs, so if we have to increase a little bit, a one-time increase, maybe that's the right move this time. We do have a lot of concerns around the city about our water rates and the potential for them to increase. So I would reiterate sort of what Mrs. Holmes Thomas had to say about us, and really challenging our staff to find ways to help people out in this current time. I know that we have some pretty insurmountable challenges that we have to meet, but whatever we can do, it might be time to get creative. I'm not sure what the next step would be, but yeah, appreciate all you guys' hard work on that.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? All right, this is a discuss and consider ordinance number 3003. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3003 as presented.
I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3003. Is there any further discussion? I would like to add to our discussion that, hey, council, we've always had, and you've always had, challenges in regards to providing services and keeping rates down. I think y'all have done excellent work during the budget in trying to do that, and to be able to determine how much and when and how to spend those dollars. I think you've done an excellent job, and while we wish we could keep things the same, there's just a demand and a need, and we need to meet that demand and that need as we move forward. So thank you for all your hard work. So again, we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 3003 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.5.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Item 8.5 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding amending Appendix 1 fee schedule, Section 27, water service rates and charges, paragraphs 1 through 4, and Section 28, sewer service rates and charges, paragraph 1 of the revised Code of Ordinances of the City of Terrell, Texas.
All right, this is going to be handled by our City Secretary, Don Stahl.
Mayor and council, ordinance number 3009 is in your packet. This will set the water and sewer rates for the fiscal year 2023 through 2024. This was discussed at the budget retreat and has been discussed at the last couple of meetings that we've had. This, if approved, this will go into effect on October 1st, 2023.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Don? Hearing none. Oh, I'm sorry. We're in a public hearing. This is a public hearing. Let's open the public hearing to receive comments regarding Appendix 1 fee schedule for Section 27, water services rate and charges. Is there anyone here to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to item 8.6.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3009, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, amending Appendix 1 fee schedule, Section 27, water service rates and charges, paragraphs 1 through 4, and Section 28, sewer service rates and charges, paragraph 1 of the revised Code of Ordinances of the City of Terrell, Texas, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This does come to you tonight on first reading.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Don?
Dawn, could you briefly point out the changes that the ordinance is proposing from 2024 to 2023 of high level?
McKeska?
I'm going to call on our Director of Utilities, Mike McKeska, if you don't mind coming forward.
So the percentage increase on water was 8.25, 8.25%, driven largely by the increase that we're seeing from North Texas, as what we've seen in many years in the past. Sewer rate is a 2% increase. And what that was allow us to do is fund what we need. And we have an increase in debt service this year from for projects going on, getting prepared for developments, growth, and just some replacements in the city. So that's the gist of it. And inflation is, we're seeing increased costs across the board, like we see on projects, we see on buying city materials as well. So it's a combination of things. But that's where we landed in those. So, you know, and those percentages are applied across, as they have been historically, have been applied across on the base rate, minimum rate for water and sewer, as well as the volume rates, volumetric rates.
I'd say it's hard to read the ordinance and gather what percentage increase it is.
You won't
but
see
it's-
that
It's
written
North
in there.
Texas Municipal Water District is charging us 11.5% more than last year for the water that we use. The staff recommendation was 8.5%. Council said, please make that lower. We went down, pardon us, we were only able to get it down to 8.25% on the water side, but we were able to keep the wastewater side of it down, the sewer side of it down to only a 2% increase. And then all of that is budgeted so that we are break even on water and sewer together over the course of FY24.
The wholesale rate, the wholesale customer rate's also going up just over 2% as well. Okay. They're a smaller percentage of our flows, and all of our project costs do not get applied to them, so they don't see the same, it's calculated each year, they don't see the same increase necessarily as our retails do. And so in this case, it was about a fourth of the retail rate. And some years, it's actually been the other way around. We've seen things that have been equal or even slightly more, I think, over the years for wholesale versus retail.
That's a formula that we use to calculate what they pay, yes? Or no?
It's built into the rate model, and there's numerous factors in how it's calculated. It's a percentage of our O&M cost. You know, all of our departments don't apply to them. Some of them do, some of them don't. You don't look at the sewer cost. You look at certain percentages on project cost, how much is beneficial to the retail customers versus wholesale customers when it's a common to all type project. It just depends. You look at each one individual in that case. So it's pretty complicated spreadsheet that factors all of this in. But again, we're seeing increases across the board. And we can work next year to see where we're at. If our customer base grows, as we've talked, if we add, the more homes we add, the more accounts we add over the next, 12 months, 10 months, 12 months, we can project for the next year, the better off we are, okay? So,
And we're not the only city that, from what I've learned in previous meetings, we're not the only city that is facing a steep charge for water from the North Texas Municipal Water
that's across the
District.
board. All of their customers are seeing that.
All their customers. Will you help me remember, maybe yes or no for this one? Do we anticipate that North Texas Water Municipal District may, from what we may have heard from them or others, that they may propose another steep increase in the following
Yes.
years? So they are proposing steep increases in the
Currently,
following
yes,
years.
yes.
Because my challenge to, really to the council would be to prioritize on our, year and 3-year strategic goals, to challenge staff to see how we can keep water rates down, keep from increasing. We know we're gonna have higher costs, and Mike has talked to us more than once on all the moving facets of the water rate, sewer model. But we can continue to challenge each other and staff to help from us having to also do the steep increases in the future.
Just one thing I'll add, on debt service, there was originally a plan, we borrowed money, quite a bit of money in FY '23, which is the debt service is gonna hit in '24. Okay, so that's factored into these rate increases. We were planning on borrowing some money in '24, which is gonna impact '25 debt service. We're working at deferring that. The plan right now is to not borrow in FY '24. So we will not see, if that holds, we will not see an additional increase in debt service for '25, which will help us in evaluating everything as far as what the rates are gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna land exactly, but we're hopeful we can, because we have other projects, we've got to borrow some more money, we have to. But if we can defer that, and instead of borrowing in the spring of '24 or summer, if we defer that to the fall of '24, then the debt service doesn't hit until FY '26. And so that will help us in reduce our cost increase that originally we were looking at. So we're already looking at that to some extent, as far as what can we do to help. Maybe the increases that are projected right now with North Texas will be a little less, and maybe 2 years from now, they'll be even less, and then when the debt service hits, it starts balancing out a little bit. We don't know.
And we may have more customers by then.
And we will have more customers by then, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Like a quick question for you. I remember you mentioning in the budget retreat that you're going to push back on some specific issue with the water that was, maybe you thought they had charged us too much because of a leak issue or something like that?
There was, we worked with them, we actually, the cost did come down some, which was helping affect the rate increase, in part. The other thing that helped us is we were really on the edge initially on recommending an 8.5% increase. We were gonna be doing good to break even at all, okay, with revenue and expenses. And the cost did come down. It came down $500,000 from their initial estimate. And yeah, we were working with them, and we're gonna continue to do that. Matter of fact, if we have any other, I told staff if we have any other concerns, that we need to make sure we thoroughly document this going forward each time and have a little more communication than we did with them, because there was some, they kind of pushed back a little bit too and said, when we were talking with them, that they claimed they didn't have some of the communication that I understood they had. And it may have been depending on what level. We talked to one group. We have to raise this
Yeah,
up
and-
to their
and
operations
ju-
managers a little
Just
further
for
this next
context,
time.
since not everybody heard those earlier conversations, Mike, the story here is that North Texas Municipal Water District will very seldom, but occasionally, send us water that we have to dump some of that water.
It was a few times.
Right,
yes.
and so whenever that happens, we want to document it, and we want to make sure we're getting a refund, we're not being charged for that water. That's the behind-the-scenes, very red tape-oriented fight that Mike McKeska has to go through. So we appreciate Mike doing that, but it just has to do with, if we're getting a product from our supplier that we can't use, we need to make sure that we're vigilant about not getting charged for it. So that's been a struggle.
And it's somewhat hard to quantify. It's hard to directly quantify. You can look at usage and you can look at but we're gonna work on that.
Okay.
A little more diligently.
Good. One last thing I wanted to mention is, we mentioned that a lot of cities are experiencing higher water rates. We do know, discussions with you, Mike, and, where we currently stand, Terrell does have higher water rates than a lot of surrounding cities. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and that's a significant problem. One thing I think might be beneficial would be to sort of, formulate a communication plan to the public, maybe working with Allison, to let so people understand what the reasoning for that is, so people understand kind of why that's happening. I get a lot of questions from people wondering, why are rates so high? What's going on? If we could give them some kind of an explanation for why they're currently high, and we're kind of all in this together, we're pushing towards fixing the issue, but how did we get here? What steps are we taking to get out of this situation? And kind of, some sort of cluing the constituents into what's going on. You know what I mean? I think that would be a beneficial step, at least so we kind of know where we are, But yeah, anything we can do in the coming year to kind of get creative with how we can get these. I see this as probably the most significant issue we're facing in the coming year. Just the rates, even increasing further. It's a major issue. But thanks for alerting us to it, Mike, and being on top of it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody else good? All right, this is discuss and consider ordinance number 3009. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mayor, motion to approve ordinance number 3009.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3009 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Wait, was that a no?
Nay.
Motion passes 3-1. Next item on the agenda is 8.7.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Item 8.7 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding amending Appendix 1, fee schedule ordinance of the City of Terrell by updating Section 26, water and sewer connection charges.
All right, this is going to be handled by Don Stahl.
Mayor and council, ordinance number 3010 is in your packet. This ordinance will update the water and sewer connection charges, and this will go into effect as of October 1st, 2023, if it is approved.
Okay, this is a public hearing. We will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding amending Appendix 1, fee schedule ordinance of the City of Terrell, updating Section 26, water and sewer connection rates. Is there anyone to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to item 8.8.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3010, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 1 fee schedule ordinance of the City of Terrell by updating Section 26 water and sewer connection charges, providing for the repeal of all previous outdated and conflicting fee schedules, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
Does anybody have any questions of Don or Mike?
I wish we had the numbers previously. I don't know what the percentage, I can't remember, the increase on this. Do we have anything that shows?
I would say
Here
that
comes Mr.
it's
McKeska.
hard to peg some of those, because what we're trying to do here is do cost recovery on most of these. So Mike, you want to try to handle that answer?
Yes. And I don't have, okay.
Maybe just give me a couple, like a residence, if somebody's building a new house. like-
Okay, residential, building a new home. I was looking at the current, okay, the current, cost, if somebody comes in building one home, we have no water, no sewer services, we got water and sewer in the street. The tap fees and the meter set fee total, $4,900, okay? And if I recall correctly, what this increase would be to take it to about $6,500. What we currently are paying, if we have to contract things out, is that cost with paving repairs and everything is turning into about $10,000. Maybe 9,000 in some cases. And so when I first brought this forward, my recommendation was to kind of do a full cost recovery. Okay? There's cities and water supply corporations, they're all over the place on these costs and how they want to do it. It depends on how they want to recover these fees in one way or another. You can build them into the rates to where your customers that have nothing to do with this work are paying for a part of it, which is what we do. We supplement those costs to some extent. Or you put 100% on the builder. After the workshop, some discussions, there was a little concern about going, by some, I think you were one of them, about going all the way to the full recovery. So instead of going all the way to close to $10,000, I split the difference, okay? So it's an increase of probably around $1,600 on a new home permit from what, if somebody needs to pay for water and sewer taps, instead of a $5,000 increase, okay? 1,800 ballpark. And that's with paving repairs, so that's kind of the gist of it. There were some other little fee increases on some things as well, for if there's damage to the system. We've had issues that with the new AMI product, you've got the endpoints, you've got the cables, and sometimes you got multiple contractors out there building a home, especially in a development, but it can happen on a single family lot. I mean, just a single home as well. But we go out there and it's working at one point, and we go out there and we find a cable cut or the endpoint's damaged, been ran over by a piece of equipment. Well, we charge them for that. And so those charges went up, I don't know, $15, $20, something like that. They were a little bit higher than they were originally. But we have had to charge some contractors for damages. I mean, we had 15 or 20 damaged on one street, or one development, not one street, one development. But we're recouping some of those costs.
I know we don't have to have a perfect number, but about how many residential homes or permits have we approved this year? I'm just trying to do some quick math.
That fit this category, 50 ballpark. Now, that doesn't count the developments that these are already built and put in service or have new taps, but there's probably about 50 a year, give or take.
When there's a development, the developer takes on the task of this, right?
Yes, when it's a brand-new development, I'll use the Woodlands, for example. I mean, they've gone out and built in phases. Well, they're putting in all the utilities. They're putting in the water, the sewer, they put in the service lines to the properties. And the contractor gets ready, and then the home builder comes in and does all their work afterwards, so there's already taps to all of the lots. And in some of the infill lots, there's previous services as well, so these fees don't apply. If somebody comes in and has one single home to build on a lot that has had service in the past, and there's existing taps, they pay one meter set fee, and then the permit fees, that's it. They don't pay for the new taps. The new taps are where it cost us for paving repairs and getting it done. And so that's just the driver. It's in y'all's court. It's a recommendation to increase, to help recover a little bit more of the cost that's going against everything else, or being subsidized by all the other, by the rates and the revenue. If you ask me how significant it is, if it's 50 homes and we're increasing it $1,800, what is that? Is that, my math's off?
80,000.
That's $90,000 a year. So you're spreading that, it depends on how you want to fund it. You fund it through the revenue, through the rates, or you say, well, I'm going to have this extra increase of $1,800 per unit go to the builder.
That's not covering the total cost. We still have loss on that.
That is correct. That is correct.
So
And
we're
that's what
just
I'm
covering
saying.
some of our loss. It's not like we're making,
I'm on, yes.
no, but I want the council to understand
That's
that's
a good
not what
point.
we're trying to do. We're just trying to cover our cost.
Yes, and I'm saying that if you don't increase it, you're looking at probably anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000, depending on how many we actually have. And that may stay like it has been the last year or two, or it may drop. I just don't know the answer to that, the next 12 months. But that is, the mayor's correct. There's still a cost that is being subsidized, even with this increase.
No, we used to
currently.
have staff to do this. I guess it was something with staffing or cost. What was for contracting, since they're
Yes.
so expensive? Just, they're gonna be cheaper than us doing it? Just wondered how we.
It's been a matter of priorities and needs. Over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of change. We've had staff that have retired, we've had to hire new people, and we're trying to, I'm actually trying to get, we're fully staffed to to answer the question over the next year, I'm hoping we can do more of these in-house than we have been doing. We've done some in the last couple of years. But my intent is to start splitting that to where we contract some, but we do some by staff. That would help balance the actual cost recovery
Yeah,
if we can do that.
and Mike, the other thing I think is important to note about this is it just wasn't that big a deal. When I first got here in 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, we just weren't doing that many infill houses that met this category. It's been in sort of this housing boom here of late where we say, whoa.
It's a lot of work.
If we were doing 15 of these a year, it's a little bit easier to get into the mix. Once you start doing 15 a month, well, then you get blown away. So that's part of the balance that we've been managing here as well.
It's a good point, because it goes back to that balance in the workload, because I think when I looked at it the first year or so I was here, I think we had 15 new home permits. We had over 200 as a total. And a lot of these are infill lots, whereas 10 years ago, the infill lots were 5, 6, 8, 10 a year. So if you have one every month or two, that's different than if you have a few a month, to deal with. And so it's just been part of the balance.
Mike, so when I'm looking at the ordinance, and if I heard you correctly, one of the top costs is the cost of the tap. Is that correct? Is that the top cost that's listed within the ordinance, or, that fee where we're losing, where we're coming at a loss when these developments are coming?
Our total,
The housing, for example, the infield development example that you provided?
yeah, a large part of the total fee. I'm not really sure what the total, I'm not sure what the total fee is for a single home permit on the municipal development side. I'm not sure. The tap part, if they have to do water and sewer taps and paving, then that turns in currently to just under $5,000. If the permit's $8,000, then yeah, it's 60% of it.
I guess I'm gonna,
I don't know the
be a
answer
lot
to that.
more straightforward here. I'm in favor of increasing a cost to helping us become whole again, not be at a loss. So if we were looking at continuing to make another increase, because you wanted us to do 100%, and then we went down to, I believe, about, you said 50% in recuperating that cost. So if we were going to up that up a little bit more, compromise a little bit more, where would you recommend those changes?
What
in
I would
ordinance be?
recommend doing, okay, is looking at it over the next year and evaluating how many of these can we manage in-house, and evaluate our cost to do them in-house versus contracting, and really kind of see how did that balance out. Because, and then you're gonna have to make an assumption that nothing changes moving forward, because we're looking, I mean, right now, what's next spring and summer gonna hold for the utility? On staffing, on number of main breaks?
And I
don't know.
would also just
But we can evaluate.
encourage you to recall this. The labor expense that you have in your utility fund is supported wholly by our water and wastewater rates that are paid for by our retail customers. So when we say, well, staff can do it, you have to recall that that means that the labor being paid for is being paid for by the people who own single-family homes or rent apartments or rent houses. It's being paid for by the retail customer. So I appreciate the idea of, oh, well, we could keep costs down by having our own labor do it. On the other hand, it's still a cost that gets paid for somewhere. I don't have a lot of idle water and wastewater employees. I don't think Mike McKesker or DJ are going to go look at our employees and say, well, he's not busy today. Very occasionally does that happen. So, the idea that we can save a lot of money by doing it in-house, I don't mind going and doing that exercise and doing that analysis. I would just say you have to remember our labor isn't free. Our labor is paid for by our retail customers, so it's still a cost that is getting borne by somebody somewhere in the system. And I'm nervous about underdoing our cost recovery on this program.
And that's where my concern is, that we're not doing enough cost recovery. And I hear your recommendation, Mike, about holding off on making any additional changes to this ordinance to allow you to do some analysis. As a policymaker, I'm inclined to say, well, let's make a change now for recovery, but I'm also hearing you say that you want some flexibility to continue to do some analysis.
Well, part of the driver, in my mind, to justify saying, okay, we don't necessarily have to jump all the way to full cost recovery is twofold. One, it's a big increase for somebody. It's going to surprise people in October that come in and want to build a house, okay? But the real issue from a cost standpoint is my intention is to get, is to have a mix of these, how they are installed by staff versus contract. And then the reality is, if that works, like I'm going to push for, this will be more imbalanced, okay? It will be in balance more as a whole on how much time we're spending doing this versus other work and what we would be paying a contract.
And since we've talked about it a lot, let me just kind of reiterate. What you see before you is an increase in cost recovery over what our current ordinance says. It is less than full cost recovery, and what you see before you is the staff recommendation to do a little bit more on cost recovery in this area. And so we would stand by as staff the recommendation that we pass ordinance 310 or 3010 because it's not full cost recovery, it's partial cost recovery, and we're happy to spend another year analyzing this topic a little bit more, but we do feel like moving forward with this ordinance at this time is the right step in the right direction.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, this is a discuss and consider, this is ordinance number 3010. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve ordinance number 3010.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second?
I have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, to approve ordinance number 3010. Is there any further discussion?
Just, I hear staff's recommendation. We're going up a little bit more. I always get heartburn when I hear that our residents are paying for an expense. I realize there's a balance and we are stair-stepping up, but I appreciate staff willing to continue to analyze over the next year.
So, to clarify though, the residents are already here and won't be paying it. This is new residents, new houses that are paying, so they're paying their way when they come to the city versus our residents having to subsidize them through rates. So, while we wish we could continue at the same rate, it just doesn't make sense for the city to lose money on these taps. So thank you. I have a motion to, is there any further discussion?
I want to discuss.
Yes.
Just basically, I'm just thinking, I know where the prices are high with the contract, and I just don't know what happened between the growth from when we had 15 houses versus 200 or whatever. I just wish we could go back to making sure that our staff are involved in some of these, or more of them. I think that's specifically what's driving up the cost. I gets it done just by picking up the phone, pushing a button, but the cost is just, it's what it is because of that. So I think we need help with some of this, but just with the growth and with people retiring and things like that, that adjustment didn't get made, and I think that's why we're here, but that's my concern.
Thank you, Council. Anyone else? All right, so we have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, to approve ordinance number 3010. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
We have a motion carries with a 3-1 vote. Next item on the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Item 8.9 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding proposed assessments to be levied against the assessable property within the following public improvement districts. PID number 1, Market Center Public Improvement District. PID number 2, Crossroads Center Public Improvement District. PID number 3, 9th Street Residential Partnership Capital Public Improvement District, City of Terrell, PID number 3. PID number 4, 9th Street Residential Partnership Maintenance Public Improvement District, City of Terrell, PID number 4. And PID number 5, Crossroads Northwest Public Improvement District, City of Terrell, Public Improvement District number 5.
All right, Don, this is your item?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this public hearing covers public improvement districts number 1 through 5. Per state law, the city must conduct a public hearing annually, setting the assessment on the PIDs. Each ordinance following this contains the PID petition, a map showing the area, and the PID assessment for each year.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing, so at this time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding proposed assessments to be levied against the assessable property within the following public improvement districts. Is there anyone else here to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to item 8.10.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3012, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, accepting and approving a service plan and assessment plan and assessment roll for authorized improvements for the Terrell Market Center Public Improvement District number 1, making a finding of special benefit to certain property in the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment of the assessment in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and an interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
All right, Don, this is just us following state law on the PIDs.
Yes, sir, and this first one is for Terrell Market Center PID number 1.
So we need to do each one individually? or-
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so is there any questions for Don on PID 1? Hearing none, is there a motion on ordinance number 3012?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3012 as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Grady Simpson to approve ordinance number 3012 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.11.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3013, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and adopting the fiscal year 2023 service plan and assessment plan and assessment role for authorized improvements for the Crossroads Center Public Improvement District Number 2, making a finding of special benefits to certain property in the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment and collection of the assessment in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This does come to you tonight on first reading.
Don, again, this is just following state law?
Yes,
Or
sir,
ordinance number-
and this is for
It too.
Crossroads Center Public Improvement District Number 2.
All right, ordinance number 3013. Does anybody have any questions for Don? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3013 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3013 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.12.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3014, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and adopting the fiscal year 2023 service plan and assessment role for authorized improvements for the 9th Street Residential Partnership Capital Public Improvement District, City of Terrell, PID number 3, making a finding of special benefits to certain property in the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment and collection of the assessment in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. And this does come to you tonight on first reading.
All right, Don, PD 3.
Yes, this is for the 9th Street Residential Partnership Capital Public Improvement District.
All right, council, you have any questions for Don? Hearing none, is there a motion on ordinance number 3014?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve ordinance number 3014.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 4, to approve ordinance number 3014 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.13.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3015, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and adopting the fiscal year 2023 service plan and assessment role for authorized improvements for the 9th Street Residential Partnership Maintenance Public Improvement District, City of Terrell, PID number 4, making a finding of special benefits to certain property in the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment and collection of the assessment in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
Okay, Don, this is PD 4. Yes?
Yes, this is the 9th Street Residential Partnership Maintenance Public Improvement District Number 4.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Don on this one? Again, this is ordinance number 3015. Hearing none, is there a motion on ordinance number 3015?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3015.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Phil Robinson, District 5, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, to approve ordinance number 3015 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Next item on the agenda is 8.14.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3016, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and adopting the fiscal year 2023 service plan and assessment roll for authorized improvements for the Crossroads Northwest City of Terrell Public Improvement District Number 5, making a finding of special benefits to certain property in the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment and collection of the assessment in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This comes to you tonight on first reading.
Okay, Don, this is,
Yes, this is Crossroads Northwest, City of Terrell, Public Improvement District Number 5.
does anybody have any questions on Public Improvement District Number 5? Hearing none, is there a motion on ordinance number 3016?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3016 as presented.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3016 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.15.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, 8.15 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding approving and adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2023 and ending September 30th, 2024, providing that expenditures for said fiscal year shall be made in accordance with said budget, appropriating and setting aside the necessary funds out of the general fund and other fund revenues for said fiscal year for the maintenance and operation of the various departments and for various activities and improvements of the city.
This is going to be handled by Don Stahl.
Mayor and council, ordinance number 3011 is in your packet. This is for the approval of the fiscal year 24 budget that will begin on October 1st, 2023, if approved. The line items are included in this ordinance. They're in your packet for your review.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing, so at this time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding our budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1 of 2023 and ending September 30th of 2024. Is there anyone to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to item number 8.16.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3011, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2023, and ending September 30th, 2024, providing that expenditures for said fiscal year shall be made in accordance with said budget, appropriating and setting aside the necessary funds out of the general fund and other fund revenues for said fiscal year for the maintenance and operation of the various departments and for various activities and improvements of the city, providing a repealing clause, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. This does come to you tonight on first reading.
All right. Don, do you have anything to add on that?
Can I have one?
Mike?
No, sir.
Yes?
So the only thing that's different from the last time y'all have seen this, it does track consistently with all the various presentations you've seen. The Tax Increment Refinance Zone Board of Directors approved the TERS number 1 budget, the TERS number 2 budget, the TERS number 3 budget, the TERS 4 budget, and the Power Center Fund. That's their area of operations. The rates that you just approved are all consistent with what's shown there for the PIDs number 1 through PID number 5. The INS funds number 1 and 2 are consistent with what you've already put in place with borrowing schedules over the future years. And the Park and Downtown Improvement Corporation has approved its $2.5 million budget, also shown here. And then staff did put a little extra effort into a request that we had and also heard from our elected officials and then saw ourselves. We did have a lot of damage to the roadways in the city over the course of the summer months. When you have a lot of days in a row where it's over 100 degrees, you're going to get a lot of extra cracking and damage to your asphalt streets. And so we did find the money to put a little bit of extra money into the capital improvement fund to give Glenn about another $100,000 to deal with pavement damage that happened over the course of the last few months. And he'll be able to spend that money in October and November to try to do a little bit of preventative work before we have a winter hit those same cracks and hit those same potholes. So we want to do that work real quick. That's the only thing that's different than just sort of getting all of this into the editorial formats for you.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on ordinance number 3011? Hearing none, is there a motion on ordinance number 3011? And because this is our budget, I'm going to ask that, Don, you poll the council, please?
Yes, sir.
We need a motion and a second before we
Yes,
do.
yes, I know, but I just wanted to give her heads up. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3011 as presented.
I have a motion, is there a second?
I second.
I have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3. A second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve ordinance number 3011. At this time, would you please poll the council?
Yes, sir.
Is there any further discussion first? No, yes.
Just want to quickly note that we've, most of this has already been discussed ad nauseum in various other meetings. So just the lack of discussion, everybody's listening isn't because we're not
Right.
addressing it. It's just a matter, we've already discussed all this at length, so.
And I'll add, hey, I want to thank the council for your hard work on the budget. And I've been involved in budgets for the last 4 years now, and can tell you, y'all were engaged. You took consideration of our public as we met the needs and tried to find ways to structure the budget so that it had the least impact on those, our citizens. So good job. If you would, please poll the council.
Yes, Grady Simpson, District 2.
Yay.
Mayrani Velasquez, District 3.
Aye.
Stephanie Holmes Thomas, District 4.
Aye.
Phil Robinson, District 5. Mayor Rick Carmona.
Aye. Motion passes with unanimous vote of those present. Next item on the agenda, discuss and consider civil service ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3017, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, amending Chapter 9, Section 9-9, Civil Service Classification Plan, A, classification of firefighters, and B, classification of police officers. 9-9A1, positions appointed by the fire chief, and 9-9A2, firefighter classifications, and 9-9B1, positions appointed by the chief of police, and 9-9B2, police officer classifications. Revised Code of Ordinances of the City of Terrell, Texas, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. And this comes to you tonight on first reading.
It's going to be handled by our city secretary, Don Stahl.
Yeah, this is the last time you'll hear from me. Ordinance number 3017 is in your packet. This has been discussed, it was discussed at the budget retreat, and it's been discussed at the last several council meetings. All of the changes were shown in the PowerPoint that Mike showed last week, or Mr. Sims showed last week. If you'll, you can see that the new fire wages will begin, their monthly salary will go up on November 15th, 2023, and February 1st, 2024. And the police will as well.
All right. Does anybody have any new questions for staff? Hearing none, this is ordinance number 3. Oh,
Did you have
yeah.
something to say?
Did you have a comment?
Just a quick comment.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that, I want to thank staff for working hard to find a way to, increase pay for our firemen. I think that was a much-needed change. And, I want to make sure that we kind of reiterate that we appreciate the hard work that our police and fire do for us. And this ordinance was much needed.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? Again, this is ordinance number 3017. This is a discuss and consider. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3017 as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3017 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 9.2.
9.1, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry, you're right, 9.2. My apologies. I don't want to hold us up any more than we already have.
Come on, Greg.
9.2 is to discuss and consider.
Man, you get brave when you try to correct the mayor, don't you?
That's my bad.
Only an attorney would do that.
9.2 is to discuss and consider professional services agreement, quiet zone reconstruction, multiple locations.
All right.
Uh,
Raylan?
Earlier, we could say good evening, now good night.
Yes.
Mayor, City Council, just bringing these items back to you as we discussed last week. This would be the contract already funded through the 2019 Kaufman County bond reallocation that we worked through with Commissioner Terry Barber. So this would be just for the quiet zone reconstruction at the multiple locations, and this will get us all the way through grant administration, and we will be prepared for the Crucy grant application in January.
All right.
Sorry, Dawn, I should have kept going through those, I'm sorry.
So we went through this presentation
Last week,
before
yes,
last
sir.
week. So does anybody have any new questions for Raylan on this project? Again, this is the county bond program that's funding this for us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No? Is there a motion on item 9.2?
Yes, Mayor, motion to approve item 9.2.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem, District 3, to move forward with the professional services agreement for the quiet zone reconstruction. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 9.3.
Mr. Mayor, item 9.3 is to discuss and consider professional services agreement, South Alley reconstruction.
So this is also in connection with the quiet zones. Each of those crossings will be addressed one block north and south of the actual crossing. So this is a contract for Kimley Horn, the same engineer who's designing those crossings, to do the solid complete in between the blocked crossings to do South Alley once the crossings are complete, so that we have a complete project from Rockwall all the way to the end of South Alley, which would eventually end up at Highway 80.
Is this a not to exceed number on this one? or
Yes,
what is-
so the contract amount is $246,000, and that would be your not to exceed amount. This will also be funded through your 2019 Kaufman County Transportation Bond.
Is there any new questions for Raylan? Again, this is going to be a not to exceed number of $246,000 for Kimberly and Horn. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mayor, motion to approve South Alley project reconstruction for Kimberly Horn, not to exceed the amount of $246,000.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem, District 3, to approve the professional services with Kimberly and Horn in an amount not to exceed $246,000. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 9.4.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, 9.4 is to discuss and consider bids on 3 project package.
All right, this is our project engineer, Jeremy.
Good evening, council, mayor. I bring for you this 3-project package, which consists of a base bid of the Eastmore project and 2 alternate bids, which are the 6th and 7th Street improvements and the Stallings Park, which was the alternate 2 bid. We received, there you go. Before you is the bid tab that we received from Jet Ski Construction and Hutchinson Construction. As you can see, Jet Ski was the lowest bidder. So as staff, we're trying to consider the approval of awarding Jet Ski with the construction of the Eastmore project and the Stallings Park drainage improvement project.
And that's not to exceed,
Yes, it's a not to
what's that
exceed
number?
amount.
1.6 or No. What is the total?
It's going to
If
be.
you go down,
The next,
Yep.
nope, go down.
okay. So this is the Stallings part, yes.
There you go.
There you go.
So council, just for clarity, it's Jeske, and staff is recommending that we go with the Stallings Park improvement at 725,042, and staff's recommending we go with Eastmore 12-inch water line at $1,586,883.50, and then we're not accepting the bid on 6th and 7th Street because we think we need to retool and save money there. So the motion would be to move forward on Eastmore and Stallings with Jeske.
Okay. Somebody do the math real quick. Hey, who's got the calculator up? That not to exceed what? And this is with Jeske?
Yes, jet ski construction.
What's that amount?
You mean the combined amount?
I feel like we're in, what's that movie? Where everybody's doing the calculations on the, what is that?
Wall Street?
Huh?
Wall Street?
No, we're Apollo 13. Everybody's doing their,
Oh, yeah.
what is it?
To $2,311,925.50.
All right.
2,311,000.
2,311,925.50. All right. Everybody good on that number?
Combined amount?
Thumbs up.
With more
Yes.
installings.
Yeah,
Yes,
with
for the Eastmore and the
project
Stallings.
And Stallings Park.
Right.
All right. Anybody have any new questions for Jeremy? Hearing none, is there a motion on item 9.4, Jeske, awarding the bid to Jeske for amount of not to exceed $2,311,925.50?
Motion to award Jeske the Stallings Park Drainage Improvement Project and the Eastmore 12-inch water line installation, and in amount not to exceed $2,311,925.50, and to reject the 6th and 7th Street water and wastewater improvement bid.
Very good.
All right. There's a motion. Is there a second?
All right, second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve with Jeske the Stallings Park Improvement Project, the Eastmore 12-inch water line installation, and to reject 6th and 7th Street water and wastewater improvement in an amount not to exceed $2,311,925.50. Is there any further discussion?
He loves that number.
Mayor, appreciate staff for continuing to work on the Stallings Addition Drainage Improvement Project. It's a project that the community has been asking for some time, and we have been persistent in these last couple of years to make sure that we continue to move forward. So I will excitedly reach out to them after the meeting to share that this project is moving forth.
Yes, Mayor, I'm appreciative as well as Councilwoman Moreno Velasquez. The people in Stallings deserve to have a park where they have no flooding, you can enjoy it, and they can add their own little flavor where everybody in the community can come to. So, thanks, staff.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously for all those present. Our next item on the agenda is 9.5. Council, I'm going to ask that we postpone this until October the 10th. May I have a motion?
Motion to postpone the 9.5 item until October the 10th.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, a second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to postpone item 9.5 until October the 10th. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda. 10.1.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. For discussion only, approval of pre-construction services for Project 2023C-01, Task Order Number 1, Fire Station Number 3.
Council, do y'all want to go through with this one, or you want to postpone the next two? Okay, so is there a motion to postpone item 10.1 until October the 10th?
Motion to postpone item 10.1 until October the 10th.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second?
Have a motion from from Phil Robinson, District 5, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, to postpone item 10.1 until October the 10th. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote. Our next item is 10.2. Is there a motion to postpone it until October the 10th?
Motion to postpone item 10.2 until October the 10th.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Phil Robinson, District 5, a second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to postpone item 10.2 until October the 10th. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda
Promise I can do this one quickly. if you like.
is 10.3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, for discussion only, we bring to you Resolution Number 2101, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving the purchase of 6.5 acres of land being part of William Peters Survey, Tracks 35.02 and 35.04, property IDs 187223 and 51233, City of Kaufman, Texas, property by the Kaufman Central Appraisal District pursuant to the purchase and sale agreement between Kaufman Central Appraisal District and the Kaufman Independent School District, and the construction and related financing of a building pursuant to a lease purchase agreement as required by Texas Tax Code, Section 6.051B, finding such action is taken within the time required by Texas Tax Code, Section 6.051B, offering a copy of this resolution to be provided to the chief appraiser and providing an effective date.
So, Mayor and Council, just quickly, we're required under state law to vote on anything where your appraisal district would be purchasing land or building a building. In this case, they have a voluntary purchase and lease agreement that they've worked out with Kaufman Independent School District, so they could use some Kaufman Independent School District land to acquire the land and then build a building on top of it. As you know, the appraisal districts had a lot of growth in the number of protests that they hear and the amount of staff they have to keep up with the appraisals in the county, and they've voted to move forward in this process. They are not allowed to move forward under this process under state law unless 3/4 of the taxing entities pass resolutions allowing them to move forward and do so. They need this passed promptly so that they can move forward and work through their budget process. So I am going to be obligated to put this onto the agenda for Friday, September the 29th at 5 or at noon. That's our noon lunch meeting. But I do think it's a fairly straightforward item and should not be controversial. You can look at the total cost of that building that's listed in their resolution. It's about $8.7 million for the full building. Our annual share of that would be about $29,000, and that's a perfectly good contribution to make sure that our taxpayers have a competent and properly housed appraisal district to do their work with. So we're going to recommend that we approve this, and you'll see it show up on your next agenda. And I'd be happy to answer any questions offline about it or however you'd like to communicate with me about it.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Sims? This discussion on. Right, and there's no voting tonight.
No vote.
No vote. No.
All right, next on the agenda is the consent agenda. We may consider both of these at the same time. Does anybody want to pull off either 11.1 or 11.2? Hearing none, we'll do the consent agenda as one. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Phil Robinson, District 5, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Mayor Pro Tem District 3, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is executive. We do not have any, so we are adjourned.